And this next fight, we got the return of one of the biggest prospects in the UFC today, Mokaev, and he's right now probably the biggest threat to John Jones' record of being the youngest champion. He's 22 years old. He's 3-0 in the UFC, and he's 23-0 overall. He's unbeaten in 9 pro fights, and you would think that he's ready for a ranked opposition or a step up in competition, but the UFC, I think after they saw his last performance, probably pumped the brakes a little bit. He largely dominated Malcolm Gordon, but there were a few moments where he was put in some bad spots, and I think the matchmaker saw that, and that's why he isn't getting a ranked fighter here. And I think probably a lot of people are ducking him as well. But obviously there's no rush, so it isn't a big deal, and Filho isn't a pushover or anything. And if Mokaev wants to be champion, though, before he's 23 years old in 8 months, he definitely has to get going. He only has about a year to do it. And he has to run through Filho here, get a win against another high-level fighter, and then try to get that title shot in there or something. But Mokaev, wrestler, he holds his hands really low on the feet and is pretty dynamic with the stand-up, almost baits guys in and try to chase them, and then he'll use that evasiveness to throw counter hooks, pull twos, flying knees. He throws a lot of kicks on the outside, some nice spin kicks. But I don't think his striking is that great. I mean, a fighter who can get in pressure, Mokaev maintain distance and defend the takedowns is going to beat him up. But right now, he's essentially a guy that likes to use his movement to stay away, counter, give fighters a chase or overextend, and then also explode in with big actions to try to create opportunities to hit takedowns. And when he gets on top, I mean, his top pressure, his ability to attack chokes, his ability to mat return, his cardio is all elite. His last fight, he had some bad sequences, but obviously he ended up getting the submission in the 3rd round. And the one thing he just needs to improve with is his ground and pound. He doesn't have the best ground and pound right now, isn't very active with it, and I think if he throws more ground and pound, he can open more finishes up. But Filho is a guy that has really good back control, so Mokaev, who gave his back a couple times in his last fight, can't afford to do that here, and his submission defense looks a little shaky on the back too, so he can't give his back to Filho, or we could be seeing a big upset. But if Mokaev, uses his wrestling and his evasive striking, he's probably going to have an easy night. And Filho, he's making his debut here, but getting fed to the wolves, obviously. Huge underdog, but he's 14-2, coming out of Novu and Yao, still relatively unknown. Earned his contract via the Contender Series last year, and this is going to be his second fight outside of Brazil. And he's fought some good opponents, but most of his wins are against lesser competition. He's only fought one non-Brazilian fighter, and Mokaev is the first wrestler who Filho is ever going to have fought. But Filho is an aggressive grappler. On the feet, he stands tall. He is low volume but powerful when he lets his hands go. Long bladed stance and tries to feint, bounce in and out, back fighters up so he can take him down. And he's a little bit slow, but he does have power in his hands. Decent jab, 3-2s. He has nice combos when he lets his hands go, but he could struggle to get into range to punch against movers. And he throws a lot of kicks, some nice body kicks, leg kicks, and I don't know if those kicks are going to be something he's going to be able to use in this fight because of the takedown threat. But, Filho, if he can connect on a big left hook or 3-2, he definitely has the power to hurt Mokaev. And he likes to pressure and then shoot in on the cage, and he has decent body lock, but I don't see him taking down Mokaev in this fight. And his defensive wrestling, from what I've seen, is okay. I mean, I've seen him use a good sprawl. I've seen him threaten the neck when guys shooting on him. And on the ground, he's a beast. I mean, his scrambling ability is top-notch. He has fast back takes. When he gets to that back, he's super hard to shake off. And he's comfortable. I mean, you've seen him inviting, playing off of his back. But in this matchup, I think that would be a mistake. I've seen also in fights where he is getting the lesser of the striking and starts to panic wrestle, shoot really bad takedowns, pull guard, get tired. And he's only been finished twice in 16 fights, but both his losses are finished losses. I think Mokaev probably takes a decision here with this heavy wrestling style, maybe a late submission, but unless he can catch him with something early like he did with Durden, like a shot, crazy strike, I don't think he's going to knock him out. And I think Filho is good on the ground, so it's going to be tough to submit him, but I'm going to pick Mokaev to move around, hit the takedowns, and grind out another victory for himself here.